Hope that you enjoyed all of your sessions and had most of your materials in your tub that you received. I know we had a few times that our audio maybe didn't work exactly like we thought it was going to, but hopefully you're able to hear. Let me catch you up on just a few things before we talk about the garden grant and the other things that we have. All of you should have received a CD-ROM that says Ag in the Classroom Materials for 2019-2020. If you did not, that's okay. In the comments section, we posted a link to a Google Drive that has all of that. Since some computers nowadays don't have a CD drive on them, everybody can usually access a Google Drive. So we will put that on our web page as well. I have another thing. In most of your tubs, we have a Cowboy Dan DVD of his latest episode that he did for us called Still Farming. If you did not receive that, you can still get that as a download. And that's on cowboydan.com. Kimberly's saying she can't hear me. Is that me or y'all? Hello? All right, so some of you can hear me. Maybe I'll just talk louder, Kimberly. If you go to cowboydan.com, which is our good friend Cowboy Dan's website, and look at his videos that he has done for us, when you get to the place where you would pay for it, you type in 2019 AITC. So 2019 AITC, and that will give you a free download of his episodes. And I think that is free kind of per email. So if you have 2 or 3 different emails, you could download 2 or 3 different videos that he has. We've been giving those away probably for 8 or 10 years, I guess. So he has a pretty good group of videos available. Another very good website that you can go to is myamericanfarm.org. myamericanfarm.org is a video series. It comes on PBS. It has 3 different kind of segments. One of them is just a short 2-minute segment about some kind of commodity or some kind of agriculture. It has more in-depth things that go, 10, 15 minutes maybe. And then it has some intermediate ones, 5 or 6 minutes. Now, one warning of the what did I say? America's Heartland is what I'm trying to talk about. AmericasHeartland.com, there you go, or .org, is the PBS show that deals with agriculture. You can go to their website, you can look at different episodes. Now be warned, they cover all of agriculture. So Jack Daniels may be one of the commodities that they talk about, since it comes from corn and barley and whatever else is in there. So you kind of want to take your own discretion there of which ones you assign them to look at or whatever. But if you are teaching from home and your students are going to be online, those are some good spots to go to. The consultants showed you the agclassroom.org, which is our national Ag in the Classroom website. It has a matrix. The matrix has over 300 lesson plans. There's a separate search file for companion activities. Almost everything that we did today is listed in there in companion activities. That would give you the materials that you would need, a materials list, vocabulary, what grade level it's targeted at, all of those. And you can make your own binder in there just by putting in your email address to hold that. And then whatever lesson plans you store in there, they'll always be there for you. And if we make updates to any of those lesson plans, your lesson plan will automatically be updated in there. So those are some things on the web that I wanted to make sure we mentioned. So on our website, which is agclassroom.org/TN, we will put links to the video sessions that we had today, and we'll also put the link to the Google Drive so you can access the materials that are on the CD in case you don't have a CD ROM on your computer or that availability. All right, so we really, really appreciate you taking time out of your summer to be here with us. And because you took time out of your summer, we want to make some money available to you. Money is always good, right? So for your school, we offer school garden grants. And the application looks like this. In some of the tubs, we stuck them in there. They may be green or they may be yellow. It's also on the CD-ROM. It's also on the Google Drive. And it's also on our agclassroom.org/TN website. My favorite part about the garden grant is this is all there is to it. It's not a 27-page document where you have to give us some DNA and promise your first child or anything else. I am the one that evaluates these, and I have never turned anybody down. Ultimately, we work with you until we get it right. Our goal is that you're able to take this money and able to help kids learn where their food comes from by growing something. We've had schools that do chicken pens or chicken houses or chicken tractors. We've had folks raise calves. We've had people do earthworms, not for food, but for taking care of the soil. We've had people do growing towers. And on your CD-ROM or on the Google Drive, we have a plan that came from Alaska to take 3 or 4 or 5 gallon buckets, put them together with a little $50 water pump, and make a hydroponic grow tower. There are some of those already available that you can purchase for about $1,500. This plan shows you how you can make it for about $300. And then if you wanted to add the feature, I don't know if you know what a Raspberry Pi is, but it's a little computer card that kids, when they learn how to code, computer coding, they can program that to turn the watering system on or to turn the lights on or to turn the lights off or whatever. That is all on your CD-ROM in the folder called AITC Gardens. And I think that particular lesson is called Tower Garden or Mini Tower Garden. It has all the materials, the plans, all that kind of stuff for that. So those materials could be paid for with the school garden grant. On the back is the pertinent information that you would give us, your name, which workshop you attended, so that you qualify. We ask you to get a couple of names for us. One of those is somebody from the Agricultural Extension Service. So those are the people that bring you 4-H and Master Gardeners and all kinds of wonderful programs. Each state has a land grant university that makes up our extension service. One of the reasons I think that America has such great agriculture is because we do have the Ag Extension Service, and they're divided into 3 parts: the College of Agriculture, Extension, and then Ag Research. The researchers try to make all the mistakes so the farmers don't have to make the mistakes. And they publish their recommendation of what grows best where. They have research centers all across Tennessee. When it's not COVID season, they do accept field trips to come to those experiment stations. Here in Murray County, we have one that has dairy cattle, grapes, row crops, beef cattle, all those kind of things. And most of them are available virtually, that you could do kind of like we're doing a Zoom call with them, and you have your students see what kind of research they're actually doing. Then the extension service takes whatever the research arm finds out, and they distribute it out to farmers on the farm to help them to do the best job that they can, so that we can feed the world on that little bitty slice of apple that we started with. So we asked you to get somebody from the extension office's name and signature on there. That really is just to help you know that they're available to help you. We also ask that you get a farmer volunteer. Now, our idea is here, not that that person is going to do all your work for you, but if you were going to put a regular garden in the ground and you found that you might need a tractor to turn up some ground, or you might need a tiller to do a little bit of work with, that farmer volunteer may have that piece of equipment that you can borrow, or they will come and do it, so you don't have to purchase a tiller or whatever to do that. If your tiller comes in handy one time a year, and then you've got to store it somewhere the rest of the time, so it'd be good to have a farmer volunteer. Then there at the bottom, we ask for other cooperating groups. Usually that is the PTO or a garden club, some of those kind of things that may be willing to help you. Unfortunately, in Tennessee, our garden season and our school season don't overlap very much. And so things that do grow during our regular school year, things like strawberries that you could put out and have start getting ready into February, March, harvesting in April. That's right in the school year. Those are kind of challenging to plant sometimes. So the Extension Service could help you with that. Another program the Extension Service has is called Master Gardeners. So folks that want to learn more about gardening sign up for a program with Extension called Master Gardeners. They have to pay to go through that training, and part of their payment to UT for going through that is they volunteer time for other organizations to help them learn about gardening. So once you contact your extension office, they can connect you with a master gardener. That doesn't mean that person has a master's in gardening. Rutherford County kind of thought that, their school system, but that's just the title. They are master gardeners. So they can help you with that. This is a matching grant. So you say, well, great. I needed $500. If I had $500, I didn't need $500. But the match can be in volunteer time. The match can be in things that you already have. So in-kind match. If you have somebody that's going to look after the garden 1 hour a week, now granted, most of that's going to be in the spring or the fall, not 1 hour every week. We count volunteer time as $10 an hour. So that's 52 weeks. That's $520 of volunteer time. So you've already met your match there to see that you could qualify for the school garden grant. I did mention it didn't have to be a garden. We've done chicken houses. We've done incubators for hatching out eggs. Anything that can show students that food starts on the farm and not just in the grocery store. The normal procedure, you would get all those signatures, get your principal to okay it. You'd get your plan together, just a one-page plan. We're going to grow whatever, and you'd send that to me. If I'm in the office, usually I get that approved within a week. If there's something wrong, I'll give you a call or an email and say, yeah, we need to tweak this or tweak that. And then we get the check process started. That check is mailed to the County Farm Bureau office. You'll receive a letter saying you've received your grant. And then you'll make arrangements to either go by the County Farm Bureau office and pick up your check, or for them to come and deliver it to you. Some counties do it differently. That's a great opportunity to get a good picture op. It's always good to be in the paper for doing good things than doing the wrong thing, right? So that's a good opportunity to say, look, I brought in $500 for my class. One thing that makes our garden grant, or our grants in general, different than others is the next year when you want to try it again, you send in kind of the same paperwork tweak your plan however you want to, and we'll send you $250 for every year that you continue doing the school garden. In that, most grants is a one and done. We think that we keep giving as you keep trying. What if your garden is not successful? Well, it was educational. You learned what not to do. Maybe you'll learn how to do it a little better next time. We don't ask you to keep up with receipts, those kind of things. We think if we can trust you with our children, we can trust you with a garden grant. This year we had some unique situations where school turned out. So we had schools call and say, you know, I bought the stuff for the garden. We're not going to be able to plant it. Do I need to sell it and send you the money back? No, you know, those are things that you can keep and use during the year. So that is the school garden grant. If anybody has any questions, we do have somebody watching the chat. So if you have questions coming through there, feel free to ask any questions on that. There are other grants available through agclassroom.org. They're called CHS grants. They're up to $1,000. I think they give about 30 of those across the nation each year, so they are more competitive than ours. Ours is more a distribution grant where if you meet the requirements, you're going to receive it. You're not competing with anybody else. So agclassroom.org and look for grants. They also have scholarships to attend the National Ag in the Classroom Conference. This coming year, that will be in Des Moines, Iowa. I know that's everybody's vacation top of your list to go to, but it will be a good conference. There may be some virtual components to it. We don't know yet what the next year is going to hold. This year we had over 2,000 people participate in the virtual national conference and get some professional development there. So I'm assuming we're going to continue that, to offer that to people outside. One other website to make you aware of, agfoundation.org. Agfoundation.org is the American Farm Bureau website. They have classroom grants available as well. They're called White Reinhardt scholarships and White Reinhardt grants. They do those twice a year. It's either $500 or $1,000. I would have to look to see what they've upped it to this year. We do have a question there. Yes, you will be receiving a certificate for participating today. That'll be a PDF, and it'll have your name, have my name, and we will email that to the email that you signed up with. If we need to send it somewhere else, you'll need to email us and let us know that. But that should be coming within the week here. Hopefully we can get those turned around and out to you. So agclassroom.org, agfoundation.org, tnfarmbureau.org is the Tennessee Farm Bureau, and our Ag in the Classroom page is a link on there. So you have scholarships. The White Reinhardt Scholarship, which is at agfoundation.org, is for county teachers just like yourselves. Now, the challenge we have is you as a teacher have been trained all of your life, don't toot your own horn. You know, just do a good job and people will recognize the good job you're doing. That doesn't always happen, right? You toil away, you do a great job, and maybe 47 years from now when you're dead in a casket, one of your former students come by and says, you know, I kind of like that old woman. She taught me how to do this or that or whatever. We wish it didn't take that long for people to give you the recognition that you deserve. That's why we make the grants available and those kind of things. But Farm Bureau wants to recognize you. And so we make available an Outstanding Ag in the Classroom Teacher Award for each county. The challenge there is the County Farm Bureau probably has their board members, probably have 5, 6, 7 people in their family that are teachers. And so they say, well, if I recognize this one, those other 4 are going to be mad. And so a lot of counties end up not recognizing anybody. So what I recommend is that you nominate one of your teaching partners this year and contact the County Farm Bureau and say, hey, we did this Ag in the Classroom thing. Would you consider Tana Nicely as the outstanding teacher for Knox County when y'all do that in March or whatever, October, back up. And then next year, Tana could, do the same thing for you and you could be recognized. Now, what do you receive for getting that outstanding teacher award? We send you a check for $100 that's yours to keep. You don't have to share it with anybody. You can buy it, you can put it all on Sonic gift cards and get you a limeberry slush every day for, if it's happy hour, for about 72 days, right? I can do that part of math. You also get a certificate saying that you're that county's outstanding Ag in the Classroom teacher. Then if you take one more step and you go online and you fill out the White Reinhardt scholarship application, you'll be in the running for a paid trip to the National Ag in the Classroom Conference. We have been very fortunate over the last 10 years to have, I'm going to say about 12 teachers get their way paid to National Ag in the Classroom Conference through the White Reinhardt Scholarship Program. So that is a very good one. If you are selected as the White Reinhardt National winner, there's 5 of those. Some years is 10. If you're selected, like Tana has been selected, Deborah Steen has been selected, Kimberly Blevins that was on earlier has been selected as that. The next year, we nominate you for what's called the USDA Excellence in Teaching About Agriculture Scholarship Award. That's way too long of a title, but it's the USDA version of that same scholarship. And when we do that, you're in the running with 30, 40, 50 other teachers from across the nation. And we pick generally 5 elementary teachers and 3 or 4 middle school, high school teachers to be recognized as National Excellence in Teaching About Agriculture winners. And they would receive money, I think it's at least $500, plus the expenses paid to go to the national conference, wherever that is. Miss Melissa Shirt from Loudoun County this year was our White Reinhardt national winner. And then the conference got canceled. So her way will be paid next year to Des Moines, Iowa. And we hope to have more applicants that get to go as well. This year was Melody Baker from Obion County was our USDA national nominee. And she did not place in the top 5. So she was our state winner, but not a national winner. So that's some of our Ag in the Classroom recognition, grants, scholarships. Your local Farm Bureau, according to what county you're in, has lots of resources available. Lots of counties host farm days where they invite 3rd grade to come to a farm, or they bring stuff to a 4th grade class. So see what is available in your county. You received a little book that was called the Farm Friends book. That's not the Psychic Friends Network. That's just the Farm Friends that tell farmers in your county and neighboring counties that have volunteered to answer questions maybe. Some of them might Zoom with you. Some of them might come in and speak at your class. You never know until you ask. So just check out that book and see if there's somebody there that can help you. So that's some national things. That's some state things that we have. That's also some local opportunities that you have. Anything that we can do to help you, we'll be glad to try to do that. Your presenters probably mentioned a couple of the online games, My American Farm for the lower grades. It goes to about 5th grade. I don't know, some of the spelling stuff's kind of tough for me, so it probably goes a little higher than that. But I think there are 19 games now on that, no cost to it. The other one for 5th grade and up is called Journey 2050, or the home version of that is called Farmers 2050. All of those are free. The Journey 2050, you sign up as a teacher, you get your students to sign up, they go through a simulation of farming. It's kind of like Farmville used to be on Facebook, where they grow things and then they learn how to be sustainable. The neat thing about that, when you sign up, you get a unique identifying code. You give that code to your students, and when they've completed 4 steps of it, it reports back to you how well they did. So you can kind of check and see what kind of progress they're making. And then if they really enjoy it, they can go home and play the home version of that, which is called Farmers 2050. That is not to be confused with farmersonly.com. That's a whole different thing. And we're not promoting that at all. We're Farmers 2050. All right. So I've told you about the grants. I've told you about the scholarships, farm days. One thing that we will be sending you a certificate on the CD or on the Google Drive that you'll access to get all of the paperwork and all the stuff that you've seen us use today. There is a sharing workshop form. And if you would fill that out, the sharing workshop form, you can get free materials for your peers to use. We will send them a CD-ROM. We'll send them, which you can share your link to the Google Drive, so you don't even need to get a CD-ROM if they don't want to. We'll send you the Alphabet Soup book, which you saw some activities out of. We'll send you coloring books. We'll send them bookmarks, several things for free that we'll send to you, and then you can give to your peers just to get their interest piqued in coming to one of these workshops next year. If you have a group at your school that may be interested in doing a school garden and they need a little bit more motivating, I guess you would say, we will actually come to your school and do workshops. If you can assemble 15 people together, we will send one of the presenters that you saw today, or we have a few that weren't on. We can send them to do a workshop at your school for 1 hour. We did in Grundy County, we did a 6-hour workshop last Thursday and had 30-something teachers come there. So we are available to help. In the email that I sent you with the link to the Zoom, we sent all of our email addresses. So if you have questions after, feel free to reach out to them and ask them those questions. We will be sending you a link to a Question Pro evaluation that you could fill out for today's workshop to see how things that we could do better and what things you really liked and what things you would like to see in a future workshop if you're able to see that. Right. So I think that is all of the things I can think of. I want to leave you with one thing. This is going to be an audience participation activity. All right. If you can see me, hold up your hand, kind of like I'm holding up my hand. So when my boys were little, we did this thing, this little piggy, right? Not the 3 pigs, but this little piggy. And I don't want you to all turn on your microphone, but to yourself, I want you to follow along with me with this little piggy, all right? This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy ate roast beef. Now let's pause right there. I raise beef cattle. I would love for pig farmers to feed their pigs beef that come from my cows, but my beef at the store is selling for about $8 a pound. Pigs sell for about $1.40 a pound. That doesn't make good economic sense to feed beef to a pig, even though a pig would eat beef. So we messed up already. So this one went to market. This one stayed home. This one had roast beef. This little piggy ate none. If you don't feed your pig, they're not going to grow. They're going to die. And that's not a good thing. So market, stayed home, ate roast beef, had none. And this little piggy went wee, 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 all the way home. Now, words have different meanings, right? If you tell a 5-year-old to go wee, wee, yeah, you don't want them doing that at church. So be careful. All right, so let's go back to this little piggy went to market. That's the market pig. Why did we choose that one to be the market pig? Because he's the fattest. When you look at that in a children's illustrated book, that pig generally is going to the store. It's according to how old you are and how old the book is. Used to, it was a stick with a bandana on the back of it, like he was a hobo, and he's going to the store. Now, I hate, some of you are going to be shocked, but when we send a pig to the market, he ain't coming back. Sending him to the market is a euphemism for he's going to the butcher. We do those things to separate kids from death. And we've done such a good job of it that now kids don't have a clue where their food comes from. And that's the purpose of Ag in the Classroom, not to teach kids, hey, you're eating dead animals all the time, but to say that in order for us to have food, somebody has to work really hard to make that available for us. And generally that's the farmers, ranchers, fishermen. And then there's agriculture is everything between there and us eating it. We noticed during COVID that all of the food people were essential. The first time I went to the store and there was no lactate milk there for me to get, I was tore up, because I'm out of milk. I can't have my Frosted Flakes in the morning if I don't have my lactate. And so that was kind of concerning. And then I knew all of my dairy farmer friends, they're still milking, they're still sending milk to the processing plant, but it just kind of got all out of whack. And it turns out that we had so much school milk available, but schools weren't open, and you can't just open all those little boxes up and pour them into a gallon jug and send them to the next store. So it took a while for that chain to get fixed. My beef cattle that I'm still getting $1.35 a pound, some of that steak was selling for $17 a pound. Well, they bought those cows for $1.35 a pound, so somebody's making some money there somewhere, but it wasn't the farmer. We had plenty of meat walking around on the hoof, but the processing part of it in between just kind of got a few kinks in it, and luckily we've kind of got that worked out now. So if kids don't know that that's how the food chain works, they're open to all kinds of misinformation, and they'll start making some decisions maybe based on emotion or based on misinformation instead of science and based on facts. And that's our goal, is that you would have the ammunition, the tools you need to say this is where your food comes from. And when you're wanting to make healthy choices, do that based on science. If you need to drink soy milk because you're allergic to cow milk like my sister was, that's perfectly fine. That comes from a soybean. Soybean comes from a farmer. If you need to drink goat milk, which is probably closer to human milk than soybean milk would be, that's an option as well. Let me ask you, this will be a drop an answer in the chat zone here. How old do you think a chicken is when it meets Colonel Sanders and gets turned into nuggets? So if you think you have that, I see 69, that's an old chicken. 6 months, 8 weeks, 3 to 6 months, 8 weeks, 6 months, 1 year. All right. So a baby chick is, comes out of a fertilized egg. It weighs just a few ounces. We feed it, we keep it protected. That's why we keep them in the barn. we keep the temperature just right. We feed them the appropriate food for the age that they are, the amount of protein, the amount of carbohydrates, the amount of fiber. And whoever said 6 to 8 weeks, that's the right answer for a broiler. So that little chick that was born weighing 2, 3, 4 ounces, within about, 8 weeks would be 56 days. Within 56 days, that bird is weighing 6 to 7 pounds. And then that bird is ready to go to Colonel Sanders and be turned into nuggets and wings and legs and those kind of things. So you've been separated from chicken farming, especially if you thought it was 69 days or 69 years, whichever one, because we don't see that. They're housed in those barns for their protection, and so we just kind of miss that. If you've seen at Walmart, every once in a while they have a family pack of chicken breast, and a chicken breast is bigger than my hand. So those would be maybe a 3-month bird that was raised for special purposes. And that's a huge chicken breast. You can't fry that thing. So you'd slice it up and make strips out of it, or make your own chicken nuggets or fajitas or something. All right, so Ag in the Classroom is trying to make that connection back to here's where your food comes from. Beef cattle, you're talking 2 years old for a beef cow when it becomes. Chick-fil-A advertises with a black and white cow, which is a Holstein, and they say eat more chicken, meaning don't eat beef, right, is their idea. Say, well, that's a milk cow, that wouldn't be in beef anyway. But if you eat ground beef, most of that ground beef does come from an old dairy cow or from a steer that's a male that has been neutered, so that there's no other use for them, so we feed them out. They don't have very much fat on their bones, and so they make perfect ground beef, and then we can add other fat to them to make, Leah Thompson was talking about her 80-20 that she likes, or 70-30, or whichever one she likes. That works. All right, so I think that is all I have. We still have 50 people on here. That is great. So I'm going to send you your certificate that says that you have 6 hours of in-service through the virtual workshop. If you notice, we're going to be ending 20 minutes before the 5-hour mark. So to keep me from lying, for some hour between now and when you go back to school, look through your tub. If you've watched HGTV and you make those 3 piles like hoarders do, the things that I know I can't use, the things I know I will use, and then the ones in the middle, spend a little more time on those in the middle that I might can use. These things that have no relation to what you're teaching, please give those to some other teacher and let them have them to put them to use. And then those things you're going to use, go through and maybe put some sticky notes in there. This is where I'm going to fit this into my regular classroom. We're hoping that Ag in the Classroom is not something that you have to add on and teach on top of other things, but a way that you can teach what you already have to teach, but use some agricultural information in there. So that's what you're going to do for that extra hour. You're going to go through your tub, find out the good stuff, the bad stuff, do a little more digging on the middle stuff. And for fun, Google LA County Fair, and there will be 5 or 6 of those, and it's hilarious. These little Los Angeles girls looking at a sheep and trying to figure out what sound it's supposed to make. But that'll be, hopefully we'll have you some comedy to go along with the rest of your day. Any parting shots? I want to thank Tana Nicely, Valerie Teal, Joanne Maupin, Beverly Hall, Jennifer Bates, Leah Thompson, Laura Purtle, Kendall Martin, one of our interns, Casey Harmon, or another intern that was manning the sides. Dan Strasser was the one in the lobby. So if you fell out of your room or got kicked out or left and had to get back in, he's the one that helped you back in. And Tad Hickman was our technology person that set it all up and does such a great job and figured out how to do this. We have been recording, so we will make a link to this on our on our Tennessee Ag in the Classroom page. It'll probably take us a while to get it, figure out how to do that, but we'll get it there. So if you had to step away for a while and you wanted to see what you missed, you can do that. Also want to thank Teresa Ragsdale, who is the one that communicates with you most of the time when you register for a workshop. And just mostly want to thank you for what you do in educating our students and making the world a better place. All right. Thank you all very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your summer. And if you ever get to see a kid again, give them a hug if you can. All right. Thank y'all.